When we heard of his disappearance, we all hoped that he would be found in a good health, and we all have been very saddened to hear that he was passed away. Today we are gathered here to plant a tree in memory of him, and we are going to do this plantation from our longest serving staff of this organization, Mr. Prem Rai. Before we start our plantation program, I would like to pass you Kalapoli to say a few words.
Thank you. Thank you, Kapindra. Oh, let me turn this on. Yeah. Thank you, and thank you very much to the team involved in organising today. It's great, despite the challenges that coronavirus presents, to be able to come together here, some of us virtually online and some of us here in person, to remember Richard and his time in Nepal. I'm really happy that we have been able to do that, and I know that Richard too would have been happy to see everybody here in the residence garden, remembering the country that he loved, his time here, and the role that he so enjoyed. As I said to some of you when we talked about Richard earlier in the year, I first met Richard in 2003 when he was head of the consular department in the FCO in London, and I had just started work there. He was well known for his warm, kind, and approachable manner, even then. And to me, new to the Foreign Office at that time, he was, like many of you have described him during his time here, a really inspiring role model. I owe him a lot for his advice and his support that he gave me in preparing for my role here in Nepal. Every time we had a conversation, his enthusiasm for Nepal and for his role here came through in what we talked about. As an embassy, we've received many messages of condolence, and through almost all of those, Richard's warmth and kindness and his love of running and of the mountains came through. As a mark of that, I want to read a poem which I think reflects that and reflects Richard. It's called Instructions by Arnold Crompton. When I have moved beyond you in the adventure of life, gather in some pleasant place, and there remember me, with spoken words old and new. Let a tear, if you will, but let a smile come quickly, for I have loved the laughter of life. Do not linger too long with your solemnities. Go eat and talk, and when you can, follow a woodland trail, climb a high mountain, walk along the wild seashore, chew the thoughts of some book which challenges your soul. Use your hands some bright day to make a thing of beauty or to lift someone's heavy load. Though you mention not my name, though no thought of me crosses your mind, I shall be with you. For these have been the realities of life for me. And when you face some crisis with anguish, when you walk alone with courage, when you choose your path of right, I shall be very close to you. I have followed the valleys, I have climbed the heights of life. Thank you. I'll hand over to Lisa. I'm sorry.
Okay, thanks. Thank you. I think that was really appropriate, actually, that poem. First of all, I have a message from Alison, who sends her love She couldn't be with us today, but we'd love to have a recording of today to share with the children. She also says thank you so much for the painting that was sent through, and it only arrived yesterday, and she said that Richard would have loved it, so thank you. I think I wanted to reflect on a couple of situations that Richard either told me about or I experienced with him, and I think it says a lot about who I remember Richard as. So the first one, I wasn't there, but on his very first day into the embassy, and he walked in, and there were two dogs apparently in reception jumping all over him and trying to scratch and get through the door. Wasn't Dusty and Soprano, luckily. It was my predecessor Gail's dogs. And he said he just waited until somebody let them in with him. I imagine if they were waiting in the airlock, that was quite an interesting experience as well. And then he just quietly let them in and they charged into the office. And for me, a lot of ambassadors on day one would have thought that that wasn't quite the way that he should be welcomed to his new post. But for Richard, he retold that story many times and thought it was hilarious. And I think it just shows the sense of humour that he had. The second situation is his commitment to BVS, the Burns Violence Survivors organisation here. He was really so committed to that as a cause, and when he left, the day that he left, he sent me an email and he asked me if I would take on the baton, and I have really tried and I'm still trying, and it's, as many of you know, it continues to be definitely an issue that is close to my heart. And I think Richard started to raise the awareness around it. I will try to continue, but there was no one else at the time that was doing it. So that to me showed his humanity and his commitment to something that meant a lot to him. The third situation is, of course, the dance. When Richard and Alison left, and myself and David and Alison and Richard did a dance. And he wanted to do that because he said that the Nepali staff always stunned him and amazed him with the dances that they used to do at leaving dues. And he wanted to surprise you. And we practiced and practiced and practiced, and on the night I think we made a few mistakes. But he was so excited about doing that for you. And I can remember the excitement even as we were sitting there, and he and Alison were sitting in those seats waiting for the occasion, and only 4 of us knew what was coming. So that showed to me how mischievous he was. And then I think the last situation is this photograph. He said to me he did not want to be like all the other photographs on that wall in the office. He felt he came from a different background, and he wanted to show that he had different interests that were to do with Nepal. And he was so proud to have this photo up there. And that, to me, shows how he embraced diversity, and he talked about his own difference so openly, which was really an encouragement to anybody that had difference. And so they're the things that I wanted to remember Richard as. He was ultimately a gentleman and a gentleman.
Thank you, Lisa. So, if anybody would like to say, okay. So, if anybody would like to say a few words, then please come to the podium side. If not, then we would like to proceed for planting of memorial tree and unveiling of plaque led by Prem. Sorry. Okay, Pranadi. Almost. Karunati, please come to this side. The reason behind is that one mic is here, so she has to be in live stream. Sorry, Deep. You have to be in the live stream. Sorry, she has
I'm still unable to comprehend that Richard actually is no more with us. And it's going to be very difficult for me to express what I feel at the moment, as I run short of words. I've met very few diplomats, but from among those who I've met, I find him as one of the finest diplomats. I worked with him for about little over 3 years, and he was very keen and sincerely interested to learn about the development issues of Nepal, and whenever possible used his diplomatic position to influence policy decisions, inform and educate British policymakers to enhance Nepal's development work. He was passionately involved in about everything that he led. I got the opportunity to work with him very closely during the Girls Summit event in 2016. At that event, the President of Nepal, Ms. Vidya Devi Bhandari, and the then Prince Harry were chief guests. The program was a great success, and what I learned from him during that time is how one should work under pressure without compromising the quality of the product. His patience and supportive attitude was truly very exemplary. I will always remember this very fondly. He was very, very simple and down to earth, and was genuinely concerned about all of us as his employees. He shared the office shuttle with us, and during that short daily commute, he shared his life experiences with us, joked, laughed, and also wanted to learn about our life experiences. During the hot desking time, he came and sat next to many of us and showed interest in our work and our professional lives. He did not need to do that, but he did because he was Richard Morris. He was a man with integrity, respect, warmth, and compassion. He has touched all of us in so many ways. Each one of us cherishes the memories of working with him. His humble, polite, and friendly attitude had made the work environment much more happier, light-hearted, and pleasant. He had earned a great deal of respect within the staff members and also from externals as well in the country. As a gesture of our respect to him, each of us will continue to pray for his beautiful departed soul to rest in peace. Richard will forever remain in our fondest memories. Thank you.
Thank you. So, if anyone is interested, please come to the podium. If not, then we will just proceed for planting of memorial. Okay, thank you. Okay, Simon, please. Thank you, Simon. Please focus on this as well.
Great. Take this off so I can talk.
All right.
So I guess the first impression I got from when I met Richard is the same one that almost everybody got, was a really warm, human welcome. Both when I came back to Nepal for visits and when I finally made it back up here, he was always available, and I was always amazed how much time he had. I don't know when he did his day job, because he always had time for people, and I think has always made me think, am I making enough time for people? Because I think his compassion and his commitment were obvious to everybody, and his kindness and his conscientiousness really stood out. And I'll always remember, when his kids were coming out, and he was almost embarrassed to ask, could he sort of arrange for my kids to take them out in Kathmandu, as if it was a burden. And after all the kindness he showed me, it seems ridiculous that he was seemingly so embarrassed to ask just such a small favour. I think the other big memory for me was how he got really involved in local issues, as others have said, and pushed me to do things as well, which otherwise I wouldn't have done, like organising a quiz for the burn victim survivors, which he then went on and won with his family, and he donated all the prize money to burn survivors, as we knew he would. But I think it just shows quite how infectious his enthusiasm and his care was for everybody who knew him. I also enjoyed chatting with him. I share a passion for the outdoors in a different way to him. He likes running up and down, and I only like going down. So I'm the lazy one, and he was the one out there doing amazing runs and also engaging with everybody he met while he was doing it. So for me, he was a role model, lots of things, and I'm sure if he was here today, he'd be embarrassed by all these fine words that we're praising him with, but they were truly deserved in his case, and we'll miss him. And I'm just thinking of Alison and the family and how hard it's been for them, and I'm glad that we're here to think of him today, and hope that some of these messages make sure that they know that we won't forget him here. Thank you.
Thank you, Sally. Okay, now we will proceed to... Okay, Cynthia is there. Please. Thank you, Cynthia.
Thank you.
Please focus on this as well.
So I just wanted to say a few words about Richard, I think, both from a work perspective and also from a personal perspective. And I'll be short because there aren't enough words, actually. We're going to repeat the same thing over and over again because he was such a consistently fantastic person. I think we all had the same experience with him. At work, it always struck me that Richard was always interested and always involved in learning the most that he could about Nepal, and helping us to learn the most that we could about Nepal and about the systems and about the dynamics that helped us to do our work and to support Nepal in the best way that we could. And it was always interesting stuff, and it was always about history, and it was always about dynamics, and sometimes it was tricky. But Richard always listened. He was an active listener. He passed on any knowledge that he had, and he was really open with that. And he also created, I think, a really open culture in the office, and that continues to this day, and I think we've taken our tone from that. Certainly he was my first ambassador when I arrived, and could really feel it throughout the office. So we're going to miss him enormously at work, not just in Nepal, but having him out there in the sort of ecosystem that is our office and around the world. The second thing, I just was thinking about some of my favourite memories about Richard, and one of my personal memories was kind of fun. A favourite moment of mine was shortly after I first arrived. And Richard, in true welcoming fashion, said, look, I'm going to go down and watch the football. England was playing, and I think it was the World Cup or the FA Cup or something, I'm not sure. But anyway, it was England and we were going to support it. And he said, come down with me. So Richard and I and his son decided to walk down to Durbar Marg to watch the football match. It was absolutely pouring with rain. We had one tiny umbrella between us, which he was generously trying to share with me as we were walking along the sort of cracked pavements in the monsoon rain. And we both had this moment of surprise when we walked up a narrow staircase in Durbar Marg, and went up into a lift, and the doors opened into this enormous bar with a massive television screen. We both looked at each other and just laughed, basically. And he was also really good at both being warm and avoiding some of the silliest things that happened. So we sat down on a sofa because they brought out a sofa because they knew the ambassador was coming, and we sat down on it, and somebody tried to put a silly hat on his head, and he really deftly avoided the silly hat without causing any offence whatsoever. And then we just watched the game and had a great time, and walked back in much the same manner that we arrived. So it was a lot of fun, and my memories of Richard are full of moments like that. I always felt I could talk to him, and I know that everybody in the office always felt they could talk to him too. And I always felt welcome in his home, and I always felt welcomed by Alison as well. So I think I just really want to say that he is enormously missed, that his legacy will no doubt continue on in Nepal, and I am very thankful that I knew him for that short period of time. Thank you.
Thank you, Cynthia. Okay, Zahida would like to say a few words. Okay. Okay, now Poonam, would you like to say a few words?
I have got thousands memory about him. Every morning, Zumba to late night evening football, just in his mind how to make British Embassy better place to work. Cheering and saying namaste to each and every staff, going through their decks to decks, collecting all their ideas in his little notebook. And in other hand, a cup of tea, because he's very tea lover, growing jamara in his little pot, saying we all are same to celebrate Dasai too. Dancing on Nepali song, making all staff surprised and happy with tea and coffee. I have got thousands of memory, and they are still fresh in my mind. Lots of things from him. My thoughts are with Alison and the children. You all are always remain in my heart.
Thank you, Poonam. Okay, Zahida, please.
Thank you, Kapindra. Unfortunately and sadly, I've never had a chance to meet Richard. But from what I've heard from my colleagues and my friends, he's been an incredible person, incredibly kind, and a great supporter and believer of British Council work, and help us to unpick quite a few challenges and help us to navigate all these choppy waters around what we call cultural relations between UK and Nepal. And I just want to say to Richard's family, on behalf of all his friends and supporters at British Council, that he's made loads of friends and he's left loads of amazing fond memories, and we just wanted to pass on our thoughts and prayers to his families, and yeah, just to say that everybody will miss him. Thank you.
Thank you, Zahida. So if anybody would like to say a few words, then please come to the podium. If not, then we will proceed for the plantation. Prem bhai? We have Okay, may I have your attention, please? So we are going to start the program again. We will be doing the plantation program from our longest serving staff, Prem Rai. Prem Rai, and Ambassador, everyone, let's gather here. Govind bhai.
दाइ उतापट्टि बस्नु पर्ने
Thank you, Prem. I just wanted to say what the tree actually is. It's a walnut tree, and it's a walnut tree because walnut trees also grow in Bentley and Farnham, where Richard lived. So we wanted to choose a tree that lives in both countries, and this is a walnut tree. In Farnham, they don't turn brown like this one will. And then the plaque, obviously you can see in memory of Richard Morris, an inspirational colleague, an adventurer, friend, Paul. But underneath, whenever Richard made a speech, he'd say in Nepali, "My name is Richard Morris, I love it," and that's what this says underneath. So that's the way that everybody, I think, here and in the rest of Nepal, that would be one of the first things that they would say about Richard, that he loved saying that at the beginning of his speech.
Thank you, Lisa. Okay, thank you, everyone.
त्यो प्लास्टिक निकाल्नु पर्दैन त्यो प्लास्टिक निकाल्नु पर्दैन
त्यो पर्दैन, बोरा पुगिन्छ नि।
ए
I would like to request Ambassador to say the closing remarks.
दाइ पोइम बाइक
Hey, sorry, before that, Balaram Chaudhary is going to say a poem. I'm sorry about that. Balaram Bhai, please come to the podium side.
सर्वप्रथम दिगम्बर हुनुभएका हाम्रा रिचर्ड मरिसप्रति भावपूर्ण श्रद्धाञ्जली अर्पण गर्दै उहाँकै सेरोफेरोमा रही मैले कविता लेखेको छु र प्रस्तुति गर्नको लागि हजुरहरूबाट अनुमति चाहन्छु। 2015 मा रिचर्ड हजुर नेपालमा आथ्यो। राम्रो राम्रो काम गरी सबैको मनमा छाथ्यो। होली तिहार क्रिसमस सबै क्या रमाइलो लाग्थ्यो। रिचर्ड तिमीलाई भेट्दा पनि सबै थकान भाग्थ्यो। रिचर्ड तिमीलाई भेट्दा पनि सबै थकान भाग्थ्यो। सँगै कहिले चिया कफी कहिले खान्थ्यौ मामा। त्यही बेला नै सोध्थ्यो सबलाई कस्तो चल्दैछ काम। एक पछि अर्को गर्दै गर्यो राम्रो काम। हामी कहिल्यै बिर्सने छैनौँ रिचर्ड तिम्रो नाम। हामी कहिल्यै बिर्सने छैनौँ रिचर्ड तिम्रो नाम। एभरेस्ट पनि पुगेकै हो एभरेस्ट पनि पुगेकै हो चेन्जिङ फेसको लागि, बोन फाइनेन्सलाई लागेकै हो धेरै सपना जागी, तर तिमी कहाँ गयो हामीलाई यसै छाडी, सपना उनको अधुरै रह्यो एक मुस्कानको लागि, सपना उनको अधुरै रह्यो एक मुस्कानको लागि। शाश्वत सत्य कुरा हो यो, शाश्वत सत्य कुरा हो यो, जन्मी मृत्यु हुन्छ तर अचानक छाडी गए मन सबैको रुन्छ। एलिसन महसुस हामीले गरेकै हो पीडा कस्तो हुन्छ, तर दैवको लीला कस्तो बुझिन सक्नुहुन्छ, दैवको लीला कस्तो बुझिन सक्नुहुन्छ। 2 दिनको जिन्दगी यो, 2 दिनको जिन्दगी यो, मरि जाने चोला, कसलाई थाहा छ र यहाँ भोलि के होला। बाँचुन्जेल तेरो मेरो सबैको हुन्छ आशा, प्रार्थना गरौँ भगवानसँग स्वर्गमै होस् बास, बिन्ती गरौँ रिचर्डको स्वर्गमै होस् बास, हजुर स्वर्गमै होस् बास। थ्याङ्क यू।
I'm going to translate the poem that our driver Balram Chowdhury had narrated in Nepali just now. So it goes like, Richard, you came to Nepal in 2015. With your good work, you touched life of many. Be it Holi, Tihar or Christmas, you made them all fun. Richard, our tiredness went away just by meeting you. You used to drink tea, coffee and eat rice with us. You always asked us if we were all doing fine. Your good work came endlessly, one after another. Richard, we will not forget you in our lifetime. You reached Everest for the changing face. You inspired so many to work in bond violence. But why you are gone so soon, leaving us here? We will always miss your smiley face. We know we come on this earth, but we have to go too. But to be left midway like this breaks everyone's hearts too. Alison, we can feel for you and equally sad too. We were with you yesterday, we'll be there tomorrow too. In Nepali, we say we live to leave a good deed behind us. Nobody knows what happens or what in life follows. We have learned from you to live life in the happiness of others. We pray to God for letting us know you and spend time with you. You have left for heavenly those, but you will always live in every one of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Raji. Thank you, Varun. Now, closing remarks by HME.
Thank you. I don't think I can sum up any better than Babaramji's lovely poem. So this is really just to say how lovely I have found it to come together today and to hear all of your memories and to just to reiterate to Alison and Richard's family how much we think about him here and how much Nepal and the embassy remind us of Richard and everything that he has done here. I know that when we talked and when we met virtually in September, there were lots of good ideas coming from lots of different people about other ways in which we might remember and honour Richard. And I know that also in the wider community in Nepal, there are still many people who would like to have the chance to remember him. So when coronavirus permits, I would really like to do something bigger with the community in Kathmandu and beyond. So we will try to look for the right time to do that, to bring the wider community together. Today is just a small part of the people who have very fond memories of Richard and all that he did here. Thank you all very much for coming. Thank you very much to those of you who are with us online and on your laptops. And of course, do come and see and talk to the tree if you would ever like to. Thank you.
Thank you, Ambassador. Thank you everyone for joining us today. He is gone from our side, but never from our heart. Thank you.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's really important. Well, I mean,